Hello, welcome to the Bamboo's Biogenes channel. Today we will discuss about endangered animals of India. So stay tuned. This topic is very important for UG and PG ecology paper. When we talk about endangered animals, the first question comes into our mind is that the animals are called as endangered. That means we are giving a particular kind of a tag to this particular animal or a species, and which is the agency that gives this particular tag. So here, this is the agency that gives a particular tag to the animal. This is known as a International Union for Conservation of Nature. This IUCN is founded by Julian Huxley in 1969. It has now 1400 members. These members includes the governments of various nations. Even the NGOs are also there. Some individual members are also there. So this is a 1400 member strong international union for conservation of nature. And what is the task of this IUCN? The task is it evaluates the species that are present on the earth, and accordingly these evaluated species are categorized into the seven categories on the basis of levels of endangerment. And why this is done? This is done because it is the need of the hour to conserve the nature, to conserve the species that are present in the nature, to protect the biodiversity that is present in the nature. And for that purpose, the categorization is very necessary, because we know that there are different plants and animals are there. They are they are endangered because of the pressure that is given by the humans on them. So to highlight the need for the conservation of these particular species, these different levels of endangerment have been made, and this categorization helps governments and NGOs to pinpoint on a particular kind of a species and um, work for their conservation. Now see the criteria for the levels of endangerment. These are the five criteria on which basis we can place a particular kind of animal or a species into at a particular level of endangerment. The first criteria is a population reduction rate. The second is a geographic range. Third one is a population size. Then fourth one is a population restrictions, and the last one is extinction probability in the range. So let us see this in a chart. Now we will see the categories, and accordingly we see the criteria for placing a particular kind of a species into these seven categories. These seven categories is, the first one is the least concern. If evaluated species has been found to be widespread and abundant in population, then that particular species is kept in this category that is known as a least concern. For example, squirrel, that is kept in a least concern category. Then the near threatened category is that if a species that is likely to qualify for a threatened category in a near future, then it should be placed in a near threatened category. Now, what do you mean by threatened category? All these three categories are considered as a threatened categories. So if that particular species is in a near future, it will decline in its population, then that should be kept in a near threatened category. So this is the second category. Then the third category is on the basis of population reduction rate. If one criteria is taken into consideration, that if the reduction in population is 30 to 50%, then that particular species should be considered as a vulnerable species. If decline in population is a 50 to 70%, then it should be considered as an endangered species. And if the decline in population is more than 80 to 90%, then it should be considered as a critically endangered species. So this is the first criteria, that is a population reduction rate, and on that basis the animals are divided into these categories. Then the next is a geographic range. Now geographic range has a sub criteria. First one is the extent of occurrence. If that particular species is abundant, then no point in conservation, so it is a least concern. Then if, see, for a vulnerable species, you can see here, if these particular animals or a population of these animals or plants that is restricted less than 20,000 square kilometer, then it is considered as a vulnerable species. If that population is restricted in only less than 5,000 kilometers square, then it is considered as a endangered species. And if that particular animal or a population is restricted to geographic range less than 100 square kilometer, then it is considered as a critically endangered category. So even the subcategory sub criteria is area of occupancy. If that vulnerable species or if that particular species is occupying only 2000 square kilometer area, then it is vulnerable species. If it is occupying only 500 kilometer square area, then it is endangered species. And if it is found only in a area which is a 10 kilometer square area, then it is considered as a critically endangered category. So on the basis of a geographic range, you can see that these are categorized into three different categories. Then the next one is the population size. Now see here, if it is abundant, then least concern. Then if they are going to undergo, or they are going in near future, they are going below the 10,000 individuals, then they are considered as a near threatened. Now if the mature individuals are below 10,000 for population size, then that particular species should be considered as a vulnerable species. If it is below 2,500 mature individuals, then it is endangered species. And if it is less than 250 mature individuals, then it should be considered as a critically endangered. For example, the bird that is known as a great Indian bustard, it is less than 250 mature individuals that are found in India. So that's why they are considered as a critically endangered birds. So similarly, you can see here population restrictions. Now here, if that particular mature individuals are found in only or less than 20 kilometer square area, then these are considered as a vulnerable species. If only 1000 mature individuals are also there in a particular population, then also it is considered as a vulnerable species. Now if in that particular population only 250 mature individuals are there, then they are considered as a endangered species. Less than 250 mature individuals. So, and if less than 10 mature individuals are found in a particular species in a population, then it is considered as a critically endangered species or a critically endangered category. So the next criteria is the extinction probability in the wild. Now see here, the at least 10% within 100 years, if that particular species is declining and it will remain only 10% within 100 years, then it is called as a vulnerable species. Now if in at least in a 20% or at least 20% individuals will remain within a 20 years or for 5 generations, then it is considered as a endangered category. See, whatever the population is, and if we foresee that in next coming 20 years, the whatever the population size is today, that will decline and uh, uh, remain as only 20%, then it is considered as an endangered species. Similarly, here also you can see here that if a particular population of a species is uh, declining very fast and it will remain only 50% of what is today, and within 10 years, then it should be considered as a critically endangered, or that species within 3 generations it will become extinct, then it should be considered as a critically endangered category. So here it shows extinction probability, that is within 100 years 10% individuals will remain, within 5 generation or 20 years only 20% individuals will remain, or within 3 generations or 10 years only 50% individuals will remain, then these categories are considered as a threatened categories, and accordingly they are placed in a these particular categories, that is vulnerable, endangered, or critically endangered. So this last column shows the extinction probability of that particular species. Now the next category is extinct in the wild. It has been found that some plants and animals that are present only in a captivity, so such or they are not found in a wild. So mm, such plants and animals are kept in this particular extinct in the wild category. Then if the plant or a species, animal species is extinct, then it is placed in this particular category. So this is all about the the criteria and categories that depicts that or that places the various animals and plants into the various categories, and that highlights the need of conservation of these particular species. Now, with the help of these symbols, the levels of endangerment are shown. If a particular species is the least concerned, then this symbol is shown here. Then if it is a near threatened, then empty, that symbol is shown here. If the particular species in this one of these 3 levels of endangerment or categories, then it is shown like this. VU means vulnerable, EN means endangered, CR means critically endangered. Then this EW means extinct in the wild, and EX means extinct from the earth. So these are all the levels of endangerment of that particular species. See, the question comes in our mind that why we should save the endangered species. To explain this, we will take example of Rivet Popper hypothesis that was given by a famous ecologist Paul Eldridge. In that hypothesis, he equates the ecosystem with a plane, and the species present in the ecosystem with the rivets that joins the parts of the plane. That means according to him, species are like a rivets that joins various parts of ecosystem. Similarly, these rivets are responsible for joining the various parts of the plane, and if one of the rivet is removed, for example, a rivet from the chair is removed, the plane will not go down, plane will not collapse. But if that rivet is removed from the engine, the plane will collapse. So similarly, if the species are such that some of the species will not affect the entire ecosystem, but some are very crucial for the ecosystem, and these species, if these crucial species were removed from the ecosystem, what will happen? the whole ecosystem will collapse. So this is the importance of a ecosystem and its species. Now let us see an example which highlights the importance of a particular species in an ecosystem and how exotic species or invasive species can do havoc in a particular ecosystem. The famous example of this is a brown tree snake, which was accidentally um, introduced in a Guam island. This Guam island is situated in this portion of the Pacific Ocean. This brown tree snake was a native of this northern part of coastal Australia and Malaysia. Somehow, this tree snake that entered inside the Guam island and wiped out 10 species of birds out of 12 species of birds. Now, because of the removal of 10 species of birds, the ecosystem or the flora of that particular area was also affected, because the pollination is a most important ecological service that is provided by these birds. And these birds, when these birds were wiped out from the Guam island, the pollination stopped and it created a havoc in the ecosystem. And this is done, or this effect is only because of the introduction of one species, and because of that the whole ecosystem affected. So you can imagine that the importance of a species is very essential for the betterment of an ecosystem. So that's why we don't know which type of species is very important for the ecosystem, and that's why we have to protect each and every species. It also affects the livelihood of a people who are dependent on ecosystem, and world also loses a biodiversity because of the loss of a particular kind of a species. Now see this bar diagram, which is taken from IUCN website, which shows proportion of extant species, and on the left side of the bar diagram shows a number of different types of groups, animal groups as well as plant groups are there. The six categories out of the seven categories, six categories are seen here that are important for a conservation point of view. You can see here, for example, for understanding of this bar diagram, you can see here this is the cycad group. Total 307 species are there. Out of these, more than half of the species that are under the threatened category. So this red, orange and yellow color that shows a threatened category. You can see the threatened category is you can, in case of amphibians, that is more. You can see here 7 out of 701, 7,131. The most of the about 50% 40% of the amphibians that are under the threatened category. So you can see, imagine that all these are showing the threatened categories in each of these groups. So it is a need of the hour that we should conserve the animals and plant species for the betterment of human life. Now, one by one, we will discuss about some very important endangered animals. One of them is this invertebrate sea cucumber. This is in India, it is kept in a endangered category. That is because of the over harvesting by the fishermen. Now, this over harvesting is done for the selling it in a international market, and this sea cucumber is used for soup preparation. So imagine that this is the best example that the over harvesting can damage the ecosystem of the oceans also. Certain reptiles are also in an endangered category. One of those is this gharial. This is a relative of a crocodile, and it is different from crocodile in having this snout. This snout contains, or at the tip of this snout, ghada-like structure is there in the ghada, and that's why the name is a gharial. Actual name of this reptile is called as a Gavialis, and this reptile is found only in a very small stretch of a Chambal River, and now that Chambal River stretch is known as a Chambal River Sanctuary for protection of this particular reptile, that is gharial. Now in India, nearly 15 birds are considered as a critically endangered birds. Out of these 15, two are from the bustard family. This one is also one of them, that is a lesser florican. It is a close relative of a bustard family. That means we know that great Indian bustard. This bird is hunted for its meat, but it is also famous for its mating ritual. That is, this type of dancing is shown by the male florican during the mating season. So this bird is very famous among the photographers. And in our Maharashtra, this bird is seen in Soho Wildlife Sanctuary near Karanja Lad district, Washing, and Soho is also famous for blackbirds. Then next bird is this one, red-headed vulture. This bird is also critically endangered. Most of the time, we see these birds are feeding on dead carcass of animals. Now these birds are very rarely seen, and they are considered as scavengers of the ecosystem. But unfortunately, the number of these birds are decreasing. They are also in the category of a critically endangered bird, red-headed vulture. Again, some birds are very majestic. One of them is a Sarus crane. It is also hunted for its meat, but nowadays this bird is conserved in Vidarbha region, and you will find this Sarus crane. Uh, the main reason for the decline in population of these birds is that in every season this bird lays only one egg. It does not make any kind of a nest, but it simply put its egg on the ground, and that is the reason why the this loss of or decrease in the population, because the eggs that are laid on the ground that are easily fall prey to the various predators and even for the humans also. So this is the reason that these birds are continuously decreasing in this population. So these are the birds which are critically endangered. One of them is a forest owlet, then Jordan's cursor, then I have told you about these Bengal florican, lesser florican, white-bellied heron. Then these two birds are presumed to be extinct. One is the Himalayan quail and a pink-headed duck. Then all these are the vultures that are uh, now critically endangered. 97% of the population of Indian vulture has been declined, Then the red-headed vulture, just now we have discussed about this. Then the white-rumped vulture and the slender-billed vulture. All these are the birds that are the vultures that are found now in a critically endangered category. Then the most famous among these is a great Indian bustard, which are again a critically endangered bird. Only 250 left in the world. So you can imagine that the severity of the the population of these birds. We know that some mammals are also in a endangered category. One of them is the wild ass, which is found in the run of Kutch area of Gujarat, and you can see these animals are now considered as endangered species. Then this Indian red panda is also endangered species. It is scientifically known as Ailurus fulgens, and it is found in northeast region of India. It is killed for its meat and for its furry skin. They prepare the bags and purses out of its skin. So because of that, these animals are become endangered. Then Asiatic lion, we know that these animals are also um, confined to only a small region in a Gir area of Gujarat, and these are the only species that is remaining as Asiatic lion. Other species of lion is found in Africa. So there are only two species of lions that are remaining on the earth, and this is one of them. Then musk deer. You must have heard about the Kasturi Mrug. This one, this is the musk deer, and it is killed for its musk. So this musk is used in a perfume industry, and only males are having this musk, and because of that the population is declining in Himalayan region. So this musk deer is found in Himalayan region. Then another very not very well known cat is there, that is known as the Indian lynx. This is also endangered category, and it's rarely found. Then the most poached mammal of India is this one, Indian pangolin, and this Indian pangolin is killed for its scales, and it has been a wrong notion from ages that this particular animal's skin, or we can say the scales on this, they are considered as aphrodisiac. So this is the wrong notion, but still for that particular purpose, these animals are killed. It is also known as a scaly anteater. So this one is a Indian pangolin. Then another famous example is the Indian wolf. This is also killed for its fur. It is also killed as it poses threat for the cattle. Then very few are remaining in the wild, and that's why they are in a endangered category. Then this is a national aquatic animal, Gangetic river dolphin. This is again poached for the meat. Only 250 are remaining in the Ganges, and that is why these are under the critically endangered category. So this is a national aquatic animal that is Gangetic river dolphin. It is not a fish; it is actually a mammal, and this is the condition of this is very critical nowadays. Then another famous example is sea cow. It has been found in the coastal areas of Mannar and even in the Kutch region of Gujarat. These sea cows are found. They feed on the grasses that are on the ocean bed. These grasses are the only primary source of their food, so they are also called as dugong. So these animals are again critically endangered. You can see the government of India is conserving these animals. Conservation of dugong sea cow in Gulf of Mannar. So very few um, sea cows are remaining in the Gulf of Mannar. Nearly about 250 to 300 animals are remaining in this particular area. Then we know that only four apes are present in the world. This one is gibbon. This one is orangutan. Then this one is a chimpanzee and gorilla. So there are two types of apes, the African apes and Asian apes. So these two are Asian apes and these two are African apes. So orangutan is mainly found in Malaysia and Indonesia, and this gibbon is found in South Asia and in the northeast region of India. This one is the only ape that is found in India. Uh, the name is a hula gibbon, and this is found in Trishna Wildlife Sanctuary of Tripura. So this is the only ape that is found in India. Now the next slide is about Asiatic wild buffalo. The scientific name of Asiatic wild buffalo is Bubelus arni. The small population of this Asiatic wild buffalo is remaining in the region of northeast, and a very small population is also present in the Iravati river sanctuary near the borders of Chhattisgarh and Maharashtra near Gadchiroli district. These animals are declining, that is because of the increased domestication and the mixing of these population, wild buffalo population with the domesticated buffalo population. So these are the reasons that these animals are declining. The next slide is about the Indian rhino. The scientific name of Indian rhino is Rhinoceros unicornis because it is different from the African rhino. It has only one horn on its snout, so that's why it is unicornis. So uh, this is found in mostly northeast regions of India, especially Kaziranga National Park is famous for this unicorn, Indian rhino, and they are very few in number and considered as a endangered species. Indian elephants are also in a endangered category, although they are national heritage animals, but still they are poached for their ivory. It has been seen that the poaching of this Indian elephant is not only for ivory but for its meat also. So that is why only 4,000 are remaining in the wild. The next in the list is a Indian tiger. Only 4,000 tigers are remaining in the Indian national parks and wildlife sanctuaries. This animal is poached for its skin, mustache, even for the nails, and even for the bones also. Uh, the bones of these animal is considered as aphrodisiac and used in Chinese medicine, which is totally wrong. Nothing is in the bones, but still they have a wrong notion about the medicinal value of these tiger bones, and that's why they are using it. And for that purpose, they are killing our tigers. The tiger is a very ecologically very important species in the Indian jungles because it balances or it keep the ecological balance, and it is also responsible for attracting tourists from the world over. The Indian tiger is the largest tiger that is found in Indian subcontinent. Government of India has done various measures to protect this animal. In 1973, the government of India started a project called as a Tiger Project, and because of this Tiger Project, now we can see the Indian tigers in our jungles. Now, please scan this QR code to get quiz number 2 on endangered animals of India, and you will get the practice of various questions that are based on the endangered animals of India. So, thank you very much for the patient hearing. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Bamboo's Biogenius, for latest uploads, or like my videos and comment. Thank you.